Hello there, internet people. I was reading during quarantine. I started to wonder about how the book would be different with a slightly older protagonist. From most books I've read, the protagonist is still in school or middle aged, and that realization had caused me to question something that has probably already been answered, which is why most main characters are in that age range. This question didn't just come out of nowhere, and if you give me the time of your day, I can explain. My favorite genre of books is easily dystopian novels, which means I get my fair share of teenage protagonists that probably would bench press me. And at one point in my life, I took an interest in faith based books. This, for some reason, led to me reading law books about people in their 50s. In my personal reading experience over the years, I have never actually read a book from the perspective of someone between the age of 20 to 30. This could be because of the limited amount of books I've read, but thinking about the novels which are turned into movies and those novels everyone experiences, Gatsby and Moby Dick, Fallen Our Stars, reaffirm this idea that there's some sort of age gap in novels. Just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with enjoying these types of books. I just want to give my opinions onto why I think they're dominating the market. The reason I thought of this question is because of how dystopias are my favorite type of novel. It's as if in every end of the world type scenario, the only people who survive are those under the age of 20, which makes me wonder why authors choose to make their protagonists so young. On the opposite side of the spectrum, an older generation of protagonists, to be more specific, people of the age of 30 and above. Again, there's nothing wrong with protagonists who are of that age, but it makes me wonder as to why there's a skip in the age of protagonist. The maturity of protagonists in novels are the age of high school students, and for books, movies, TV shows based on ideas of faith, power, and responsibility, the main protagonist is probably already married with kids. Honestly, there could be a number of reasons as to why this is the case, but I'd like to explore a few key ideas which I think explains this age gap. Reason 1: Relatability. Everyone is going to experience high school if they reach an older age. Even if you decide to drop out, you have already experienced high school to some degree, and you can therefore relate to the main protagonist. It would be different for a college student. Despite the push of many people towards a college experience, it's still common for people not to go through to uni. Just over one third of Americans have gone to college according to the US Census, so nearly two-thirds of Americans wouldn't be able to relate to your protagonist if they are in a college setting. Even if you choose not to have your protagonist go to college, you'll still have to choose a career path or the military, because most people in their early 20s have either picked a career path or are working towards a degree. Meaning, no matter what your protagonist aspires to be, it will only appeal to a select group of people. Having your protagonist in high school guarantees that most people will be able to relate to them in some way, and being able to relate to your protagonist allows for someone to invest in the story. Reason 2: Growth. This doesn't mean that it's impossible for someone in their 20s or 30s to grow. I personally believe that we will always continue to grow no matter what age we reach, but it's probably your high school years that you grow the most. These high school years are when you're first introduced to the world and have to begin to think about what you'll do with your life. This is the first time someone experiences the pressure of choice, as all these career options are available, but for the time you have to choose one. This struggle of trying to find yourself is much easier to write with a high school protagonist. The counter argument might be that college offers much more in terms of choice and self identification, but as said before, not everyone can relate to the university experience. Plus, being at a younger age means that the character will not be afraid to make those reckless decisions. With age comes experience, but I'd replace the word experience with fear of failure in this case. No one wants a rational protagonist. If I'm being honest, I enjoy it when the protagonist makes stupid decisions. These bold, unfearing characters are what inspires the audience to try to reach their more reckless goals. And when the protagonist tries to make these irrational decisions work, they fail and grow from their failure. Honestly, these admirable traits that people find in characters are because these characters are able to make mistakes. So far, I've talked about the reasons the protagonist should be under the age of 20, but that still leaves the question to the jump towards someone over the age of 30. It's as if you're either in high school or middle aged with kids. For example, The Joy Luck Club, a novel about the lives of Asian mothers and daughters. This novel fits as a perfect example because none of the protagonists are under the age of 30 in the present timeline. It seems a bit weird to skip those years worth of development, but I have a reason as to why this might be. Reason 1, life lessons. Of course, with an older age comes the life lessons and authors trying to drill in the head of its readers. A character above the age of 30 would have reached a level of maturity as to where the characterization portrays their values. For a popular example, Gatsby from that one novel. He portrays that he values wealth simply from his actions. He throws a bunch of parties because he believes that wealth is all that someone needs in order to be happy. From the same novel, Daisy's husband Tom portrays that he values strength and masculinity from the way he acts. Neither Tom nor Gatsby has to go through a character arc to better understand themselves. And if someone in their 20s was the main protagonist, they might have to go through a minor character arc, as they already had some development from their teen years. If we're being honest, no one wants to see some gradual improvement within 300 pages, which means characters have to go through some sort of drastic change or already have their personalities fixed. Overall, when writing a character, an author would either want someone who is already developed or someone who is able to go through drastic development, which is why I believe fewer protagonists are in their 20s. Authors are always cutting out the middle section of their books in order to make them shorter, so I'd understand why they would do the same in this case. While I would still be interested in reading a novel from a protagonist in their 20s, I could understand why an author might be hesitant to write about one. I'd like to emphasize the fact that I'm not an expert of any level in writing stories. I just wanted to use this topic as an excuse to commit to making a video. If you're coming out of this video craving a novel for someone in their 20s, I'd recommend Fangirl. I haven't read it yet, but I've only heard good things about it. If you have read Fangirl, please tell me your thoughts on it. And thank you to anyone who watched the video. It took a tremendous amount of effort, and I'm hoping that I could do more types of these videos in the future. Anyway, I guess that's all for now. Have a nice one.